things, Will?
I think about
Yes, you
60
can.
years.
You can go back, way back.
I've lived here within 15 miles of here all my life. My entire life. Except when I was in the Army.
We're talking to Willson Hartman. Go ahead.
And,
Talk on.
So where was that at?
well, then I was in the service for 2.5 years and got discharged. And they come right back here. And I worked for the Federal Forest Service for several years, long enough so I've got a pension coming from them. And then got disabled when I was in the service. So that's how I got out of there in a hurry. And then after the state of Michigan, DNR, they had some projects, and I started working with them, and I put in 21 years there, so I got retired from that. So, but I've had all kinds of jobs around here.
Okay.
That's great. Continue.
So,
Well, born and raised up here about 15 miles. They had a post office there, the El Dorado Post Office.
how come it was named El Dorado?
I have no idea. That's what it was when I grew up, and now there isn't anything there at all. There's no,
What they found, huh?
everybody moved out.
Why?
Just the older people died, and the younger people went to the city to work. That's about the way it was, but I was lucky enough to get on with the state and the federal, so I didn't have to leave the area to go to work. And then, well,
What were you doing with the state? Did you say forestry?
forestry, yes.
Could you tell us something with the forest, virgin forest at that time?
No,
Roger?
all this just this jack pine here, all that this country has got. Oh, they've got some patches of real nice red pine and stuff like that, and oak, aspen. They use aspen an awful lot for making paper and other things. They've got a plant up here this side of Grayling, big plant there that they uses an awful lot of that aspen and oak and
That's warehousing.
small oak and stuff like that. And then they got the big oak where what they do sell, where that goes into different kind of material for different things.
What was your job like? What did you have to do? Cut down trees or
Oh no, I didn't
supervise
cut down trees. I laid out areas for the cutting,
Oh.
and then go through. My boss would tell me which timber or which piece of timber that he wanted taken care of. Well, we'd go through it together, and I'd have to mark the lines around it so that they know where they were supposed to be. Then go in and what they call cruise it. Had special tools that we used, and how many pieces of timber or pulpwood or logs, whatever it was, that they could get out of each tree. That was just all estimate.
You had to know your trees then, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly, yeah.
And try to, well, if we were very far off, why, we got told about it. Because we'd estimate what it was there. And then when the cutting went on, well, then we had to scale it, measure it out, and see, well, I'd measure it out so be sure that they were getting what the people were paying for. And never had any complaints on that.
That's good. Well, when you finished, were there still trees left, or did they just
In
cut
some
them off?
places, yes. It had to be a selective cut.
Mhm.
And then other places where we wanted to clear cut, where they'd go in and take out everything. And then within 2 years' time, we'd go back through, or they'd go through and plant it. Have tractors with a machine behind it, and fellow riding in that machine and dropping trees down into a slot, so that,
That's interesting. To watch
and
that.
then they done that. This federal government, see, there's a lot of federal land around this country too.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Then you can't tell it from the state land, of course. It isn't marked off or anything. And they had about the same principle of the thing, getting it, or laying out the areas, and whether if it was a selective cut, go in and cut paint with a gun, with a spray gun, the trees that were to be cut, and the other ones were supposed to stay there. That was and then other places where they wanted it clear cut. That the jack pine has only got a lifespan of about 50 years, 50 to 60 years, and it's done for. And then that's why they can have always got trees coming up. They go in and plant it and whatnot, and
Which system do you think worked the best? The selective cutting or the?
well, it
cut it
depends
all
on
down?
the stand and the timber that they got. 'Cause some of it, like hardwood, that's a selective cut. With the jack pine, that's a tree that's only got about a 50, 60 year life cycle, and so it's best to salvage everything you can out of it because of the paper mills that we have here in Michigan, and sawmills. So
Well, what about birch trees? Were there a lot of birch trees in
not
there?
a whole lot. No, now you don't very seldom find a very big stand or area that is just birch. That just doesn't happen.
They don't last very long either, do they?
No. Their lifespan is probably about 70 years. And then that's in just certain places where it's got plenty of moisture. Because that birch, they have to have moisture to really grow big. And then their lifespan, of course, would be longer. So,
As you've observed, as time has passed, are the state forests and national forests just as big as ever, or are they getting encroached on finally for?
although they're still just the same size, because they don't dispose of any of their property. That is, sell it or anything, only in very special cases, just small area or something, or like along the rivers, where you want to keep that as it is. They have their campgrounds and everything, and the Forest Service. Well, yes, they have campgrounds on lakes and whatnot too. Same as the state, where they have the state campgrounds on lakes and whatnot.
Were there a few lakes back in there around where you were cutting to?
Oh yeah, there was a few ponds and whatnot like that. But
Nothing on them though.
nothing on them.
Is there anything on them now?
Nope. That's the way after the big fires went through 100 years ago, some places, nothing come back.
Well, there was a big fire through here 100 years
Oh,
ago?
good heavens. They didn't have any way of controlling them. The lightning had set a fire, and that would burn for days because there wasn't people enough around. They didn't have the equipment to stop them or anything. But nowadays, where they've got airplanes, they dump water on, fires, and heavy equipment, and go in the woods fire where they can knock it down in most of them in just 3 or 4 hours.
Have there been any forest fires that you remember around here?
Oh yes,
Oh,
all my life there's been fires, but they never amounted to heck of a lot because they'd get onto them and get the fires put out. That from the time of the CCCs come in, about 1932, they were the firefighters at that time. And with their little equipment and whatnot, but they kept building new equipment, heavy-duty equipment and everything like that.
So you worked for the state then about till you went to war.
Well, I worked with the Federal Forest Service before I went in the Army.
I see. Yeah.
And then when I come back, I went back to work for them for a while, and then wrote state civil service examination and got on with the state and was there for 21 years.
Wow. And that was the DNR.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And was that the forest work too?
Pardon?
Was that forest work too?
Oh, yes, that's all forestry work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're a super expert forester.
No. No way.
Can't you get to be that? I mean,
No.
are there such things? Is there such a thing?
Oh, yeah, they have the fellows with degrees.
But they don't have the practical experience you've had.
Oh, no. No. No, that's what the lower echelon was for.
Knowing what to do, really.
They'd tell us what they wanted done, and that's the way we done it.
And you had to figure out that was a practical way of doing it.
Well, no, they told you what to do. We had papers and everything we had to keep track of as we went along.
I was wondering whether I should ask any question that might have a negative answer to it. Were there any policies that they had that you didn't agree with or didn't think should have been done? Or
No, because it was new to me, even though I was raised right in it. But shoot, we didn't have anything to do with it. Well, my dad worked for the Forest Service for 40 years too, before I went to work there.
he did?
Oh yeah.
Well, how long have they had national forests? And
I had no idea.
I guess as long as the state's been a state, maybe.
Way back.
Yeah, I guess it was Roosevelt, wasn't it, that
Yeah.
started all these? The first Roosevelt,
Yeah.
Theodore. Yeah.
But it was interesting work.
Yeah.
But I'm paying for it now.
It was hard work, wasn't it?
Well, walk.
Yeah.
Shoot, nothing to walk.
Well, you should live to be 170 if you've been doing all that walking.
Nope, my knees give out.
Oh, your knees.
I've had 5 operations on my knees since I've been retired. So I don't do nothing now.
Well, would you mind talking a little bit about your childhood up here? What was it like going to the school?
Well, we had to furnish our own transportation to get to school. We were lucky we only lived a mile from the schoolhouse out here, about 15 miles.
Okay, you were telling me that you went through school.
No, I ain't. Oh,
What about the school you went to, you were telling me?
through the 8th grade, it was out there, in just a country school.
What was the name of it?
Just the El Dorado School was all.
Well, the El Dorado.
El Dorado.
El
We
Dorado.
lived a mile from it, and there was, about 10 or 11, 12 kids was all that there was in the school through the 8th grade. And then,
10 or 11? That's all?
pardon?
10 or 11, she said?
Small school. And then when we went through the 8th grade, we had to go to Grayling to the school up there and write an examination to see if we had got our education that was required at that time for going through the 8th grade. And then the next year, we had to furnish our own transportation from out there into Roscommon School.
That was a long way, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
15 miles.
Oh.
And there was, most of the time there was 5 of us that were riding. Well, let's see, 5 or 6. And then after I graduated in 1936, then they got together and consolidated with the Roscommon School here. So they had buses run up there after that, but before that, we had to furnish our own transportation. Well, the roads at that time, they were just building roads that were made for automobiles. Most of the time, before, it was just, had just been, before they had cars, it was just for horses and wagons. And they got around to where they fixed the roads up, and then they had the bus come out to pick us up. But it was about the same amount, or, well, after a few years, we got to where they had 17 or 18 on the bus coming from out in that country. The more people have moved up here and made their homes here.
How did you find the students? Did everyone get along with everybody? Did you enjoy the school?
Oh, yes. Because it was, most of the school was just from right around the area where it wasn't built up very much. Because at that time, Chute was all farming country. Pretty near all of it was farming country. And so then when the farms went out, why, got to where they wasn't making any money on them at all. Why, they just cut them out and built houses on them and sell. That's where the well, the population got big enough then so that they forgot about the farming entirely.
Well, did you have the lunch pails and?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
And one teacher for the whole?
Out there, yeah.
And did the older pupils teach the younger ones, or?
Nope, just the school teachers taught them. Well, start right from kindergarten. And she had to take care of the whole thing right through the 8th grade.
Who was your teacher? What was she like?
Oh, good heavens. Had so many of them.
Oh, a lot of them.
Well, that is over the years.
They didn't stay long then?
Oh, they'd stay a year or two.
That's all?
And then they'd find something better in a better school, and they'd move.
Were they young then?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Unmarried. Well, we had, the last teachers I had was a married woman, and her husband worked in the woods and the timber, so didn't have far to go. And we had, all we had in there was just a stove. It wasn't a furnace or anything like that, a wood stove. And I was a janitor there for several years. I'd have to get there early in the morning to get the school heated up so it was comfortable in there, just out of wood.
Was there any problem with discipline?
Oh, no. The teachers then they had full authority. They could, if a kid wasn't good, boy, she could spank him. And there's a few of them that got it, but only take one. They knew who was boss, and that was the end of it.
That's very different from now, isn't it?
Oh,
Boy, you spank a kid now and you get sued. The teachers, you know.
but then we didn't know no better, so, and we had orders from home that do what the teacher said, so there was only seven of us kids, so.
Well, that makes it a little easier to handle. What about your social life as you grew up? Did you have kids to play with around at all? Or?
Oh, yeah. Well, in summertime, we had to do the farming, and but Dad and Mother had it so that they'd have dances around the country, different places, and we could go to that, and then go to church.
Yeah.
Little church, just a little ways from there.
What was it, a Catholic church?
Nope. Oh, heavens, no. It was all Protestant. No, but I mean...
Yeah, I know, I'm just kidding. I'm not Catholic now, but I was born and raised Catholic, believe it or not. My grandmother never forgave me for switching religions.
It was quite a problem in my youth. There was quite a bit of feeling between the Protestants and the Catholics, which I'm glad to see is a lot better now.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot better now.
Yeah. So then you went to dances, and what did you do for a hobby? Read books at home, or?
Oh, no.
You didn't have time,
We had
did you?
little jobs we had to do, and then in the wintertime, my sleds we played on, and
Well, suppose you describe a day for me from morning till night when you were about the age of 13 in the middle of the winter.
well,
What'd you say?
we'd get we'd get called out of bed about 6 o'clock, and get up, get dressed, and from the time I was about 14 or 15, I go to the barn, have to milk 3 or 4 cows. There would be 2 or 3 of us there milking, and then get through with that. Time we get back in the house, breakfast would be ready. Eat our breakfast,
What'd you have for breakfast?
pancakes, sausage,
The whole bit.
oh, everything. We had real good meals.
Your mother did all the cooking.
Oh yes,
she was
How
a-
many children were there in the family?
7.
she was a
What were their respective ages, you know?
Well, all of us were just about a year and a half apart.
That must have been fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got you through breakfast. With maple syrup, or?
Oh, we had everything. Pancakes and sausage and toast and
Eggs.
oatmeal. Oatmeal. Ate a lot of that.
Oh, I love oatmeal. I haven't
Didn't get to eat cream of wheat till shoot. I was probably 12, 14 years old when we could get it then all the time.
They didn't have cold cereal so much either, did they?
Oh no. Oh, and see, in the wintertime, why, Dad would have to take the team of horses to go into town about every Saturday and pick up our week's supply of groceries. They baked most of the bread. Mother baked most of that. She'd make about 10 loaves to a time.
Would you have a wood stove?
Oh yeah.
And then after breakfast, what happened then?
Well, we'd get right up and head for school.
School, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get home, what, about 4 o'clock?
Well, a little after 4. They'd let school out at 4 o'clock, and then had a mile to walk and go home, and then pitch right in, cleaning out the barns and feeding the hogs, and we were busy till supper time. Doing chores, getting wood in, splitting wood, and everything like that.
And then what about dinner? Was that,
That was a big meal.
did you grow a lot of your own food?
A lot of it, yes. But then a lot of stuff that
Okay.
wants something extra, why, it come out of the store.
Did you slaughter any animals?
Oh yes. Yeah, we'd kill about 2 or 3 hogs during the winter. That would for our pork, and then butcher a cow or something for the beef.
And I suppose you raised vegetables, home canned?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Mother would can. Oh, she'd have a couple 100 jars of stuff that she canned.
A couple of hundred a year?
Oh, yeah.
1 year?
Oh,
Tomatoes and
she was so canny.
corn and
Mama.
a little bit of everything.
And what about in fruit, I suppose, too?
Well, a little bit, but that didn't have a very good place to keep that. We'd keep the potatoes, but the apples in the cellar where they'd get mushy. So didn't try to keep them. That one in the applesauce.
I guess the only things you could keep raw were what, the root vegetables?
Yeah, potatoes and carrots and
How did you keep carrots? Somebody told me you put them in sand?
yeah. Cover them with sand. Put them in a box and cover them with sand. And the sand would dry out, but the moisture would still be in the carrots.
Oh, it was wet sand then.
Yeah. Damp.
They forgot to tell us that when they told us about that. Okay, damp sand, that's interesting. And what else? Did you have like turnips or?
No, just had an old wood stove. And
I
the
mean
wood.
turnips. Did you have
Did
turnips?
you have turnips?
Oh, few, not too many.
Cabbages?
Not very much. We didn't, us kids didn't like it very well for some reason or other, and I still don't eat a whole lot of it.
Did you have a dessert at dinner too? Home baked pies or
Oh,
something?
most of the
Oh,
time.
yeah, man.
Or applesauce, or canned applesauce, or something else that we
Cook,
canned.
she really was.
But
Okay, well, we got you through dinner now, and what happened after dinner?
sit and play cards.
What'd you play? What kinds of games?
Oh, I can't remember now. Oh, shoot.
Flint? Did you ever play Flint or Flinch? Or...
Not very much.
Pinnacle, all that jazz.
Oh, what the,
Anyway,
Talking?
card games.
yeah, they had
Euchre?
card games going. Then reading and taking
Homework?
quite a lot. Not very much. I wasn't very much on the homework. Tried to get it done in school so that I wouldn't have to do it at night. And then 9 o'clock was bedtime.
That's one day.
Very good. That was a busy day,
Yeah,
I'd say.
yes.
Right.
One
Right.
day.
And then, so then when you got older, then you went into Roscommon to school for high school.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I graduated the year before they, but I had one sister and myself. They graduated there while we were using our own transportation, and then the bus would come. Then they bust them in.
Well, where did you go after the 8th grade then? You went where?
I went into Roscommon High School here.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
4 years of it.
yeah, right. And then after that you went to work.
Oh yeah,
How old were you then? What, about 18?
18. Yeah.
So you've been working from the time you were 18 on.
Yep. At home and for other people, because there was always something to do.
What was the funniest thing you can remember that ever happened out in the forestry or in school? Or do you have any favorite jokes or
No.
things, events that
No,
were really amusing? Life was pretty serious, was it?
Oh yeah. And out there in the woods all by yourself, there ain't much that happens.
Did you have any narrow escapes and got lost in
No,
the storm or
no.
anything?
Nope. I was always pretty careful of that.
How could you find where you were in the middle of the woods like that all the time?
That's what I asked him too.
Well, you had to use a compass all the time for staying online. Had a regular,
Gotta eat.
I can't think of the name of the compass now that we used. A regular forestry compass.
China, you want something to eat? I gotta eat.
Go ahead. What do you
I
got?
don't want to eat in front of you.
Oh, what do you got?
I got hot potatoes, I got crackers.
Am I asking you boring questions?
No,
You want to drink water?
just
Water? You got
I forgot all about getting bored, yeah, being bored. And-
Life has always interested you then.
oh yeah,
You get bored, Hartman?
not very often, but who doesn't?
Well, sometimes, yeah. Where did you meet your wife?
Uh-oh.
What was that?
Oh, we were. I lived attached with a fella over here about 2 miles. I bought 80 acres after it
You like
come out of the
pepper?
service,
No? Okay.
and another fella and I was working with the state or the forest service, and then so I bought this farm. It had been my great grandmother's farm. They'd come over here from England, and I bought that. It was pretty well run down, and so got it fixed up so it was pretty nice. Then another fellow and I batched in it. No, we didn't either.
You and Carl back.
No, because you and I moved into there after we were married.
No, but you batched with Carl before we were married. I know
Yeah.
that.
And we had it fixed up pretty good, kept working on it off and on all the time that we lived over there. And then her mother and dad built down there, and they had a canoe livery. So we worked there most of the time, weekends and whatnot, putting in canoes and going picking them up, people and whatnot.
That was fun. That really was.
See a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally sold that place over there. She had a house built over here, so we moved in here. I would probably, well, I wouldn't have the least idea how
About
long ago.
29, pretty near 30 years we've been in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was it. Otherwise, well, I haven't moved very far from where I
No.
was born and raised.
Well, you remember Roscommon then, in its early days.
Well,
Very
yeah.
well, yeah. What was it like compared to now?
Well, it wasn't much bigger than it is now. That's for sure. And I would imagine.
I think it's about the same as other towns as different things came in.
Oh yeah, well, there's still some places in town that were there when I was going to school. Some of but the last few years, well, most of them have rebuilt their stores and everything. But as far as the layout of the town is concerned, it's exactly the same way it was 60 years ago. So, but they claim they're going to change it. I don't know.
I'll believe that when I see it.
There won't be long. I won't be around here long enough to see it anyway.
Don't
So.
worry about it. What are some of the families that have been here right along that you knew from the old days? What were some of the families that moved in here first?
Well,
You know?
some of them, there's still quite a few of them that were here when I first started going to high school, so I got acquainted with any
Oh,
of them.
what were they? What were some of their names?
Oh, goodness, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Shepherds and,
Wagner, were they here?
yeah,
Wagner's? Uh-huh.
Wagoners and,
What about the Babcocks? They've been here a long
no,
time.
they haven't been here too awful long. When the heck did Joe move back in here? Come from out west.
What about Avery Babcock?
Yeah, Avery, that's his older brother.
What about Gallimore?
Huh?
Oh, Galmore's, yeah, they moved out, they left. There was none of the children stayed here. After the old folks died, well, they all got out. The Meads, a bunch of them around.
Yeah.
And Price's. Price had a big store in town there. And he went bankrupt and lost it.
You were saying something very interesting about your ancestry, that your great-grandmother came over from England.
Mm-hmm.
Did she come to Michigan from there? From
No,
England?
she come from New York State someplace, and they built over here, well, it's about 4 miles over here that they built. I don't remember them at all. They passed on before I was big enough to know anything about it.
Which of your ancestors came to Michigan first? Do you know?
I have no idea. You want to wait a minute? I got a book out there in the garage.
Okay.
Think about it.
That's okay, too. Anything you can remember about them at all from memory? The one came from England. Did anybody come from Germany?
My great grandparents did.
Where about? You know where? Germany?
No, I have no idea.
Uh-huh. Anybody come from France?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. All German and English.
Yep, German and English. Say that again.
Well, that's good, reliable. So, let's see. What haven't we covered now?
Pardon?
I'm just trying to think. I'm a bad interviewer. I can't think of
No, you're
questions.
not. You're
Some-
doing okay.
Sometimes the people will want to know, wonder what do you think someone will be interested in 1,000 years from now that you've been doing that absolutely will have gone off? They'll be doing forestry.
Well,
They've got to.
oh yeah, there'd be forestry here forever,
Yeah.
and road building. Because the way the population is going, why they're just gonna have to keep right on working. They'll never catch up with it. And then the people are still going to be interested in working down in the cities and coming up here for their recreation, just like they're doing now. I think that'll go on for forever, as long as it lasts. The country lasts for that.
We have a lot of new strange people that have come up here too. I mean, you know, different
Oh yeah,
ones.
there's more people moving in.
Unless you don't know your friends, you don't know anybody else anymore.
No.
You know? It's-
No, that's what everybody says.
yeah.
But I guess that's the way that the Lord wanted it, so it's the way it's going to be.
I probably should ask you, what's your philosophy of life? What's kept you on the track of not being bored, of being interested in going?
Survival.
Is that what you learned in the war?
No, no. I was working on machinery in the war, but actually, as we get older and try to do the things that you want to do or something you can't do, and you just keep fading down. And that's what I meant by survival.
Just keeping going.
Yes.
On and upward.
Because when your time comes, you're going to go, and you never know when that's going to be.